I hope that in 10 years, I know everyone who's still in IB. I hope that IB remains connected to the alumni. I think what makes IB so special is that it's a continuous family that will never die. I want IB to be the biggest organization at LMU. I know it's more than numbers, but I think it would be pretty cool. We are already pretty big. And I want IB to continue to develop new programs, new events, and not to just stick with a blueprint that we've been following for the past several years. I think that there's so much work to be done and to be developed upon that, all of the e-boards from the past and now have worked upon. So I think there's a lot of room for growth and change, but continuing to foster that sense of community and family for our IB members.
My hopes for IB, I hope that we still carry our family-oriented atmosphere, we still get hyped to go to meetings in Seaver, we win a couple friendship games, and we stand together as one to support each other during hard times and good times. May our voices be heard. These are my hopes for Isang Bansa.
I hope to see a more diverse IB in the next 10 years. I think within the past few years, we've definitely had a lot more people not of the Filipino descent, including myself, being welcomed and kind of immersed into the Filipino culture, and I think that's a really powerful thing. IB has a really big opportunity to be able to shed light on and kind of just educate people about the Filipino culture and what it's all about, and not just necessarily to people of Filipino descent, to everybody. After all, we are the Filipino Culture Club, not the Filipino Club. So I think that's definitely something that I'd love to see IB improve upon in the next 10 years.
I'm not entirely sure what I hope for IB in 10 years. Having spent my first year online and having to do everything else online as well, there's still a lot of expectations I have for everything, especially IB. One thing that I hope stays consistent not only in the next 10 years, but also forever, is the sense of community, openness, and the welcoming environment that everyone I've met has made me and definitely a lot of others feel. Even in the most unideal situation, IB as a community was able to do its best in making us feel connected and involved, regardless of whether or not we were actually motivated to. I hope that stays there with the IB family in the many years to come.
My hope for IB in 10 years is that I hope that they continue to teach LMU students and show members of IB the beauty of Filipino culture. I don't know where I'd be in my own identity as a Filipino American if it wasn't for IB, and I think the beauty of being in this organization is that you don't have to be Filipino to come into this community and find other people and learn about the culture and have fun. So I hope that in 10 years it is the same in that you can just enjoy each other and enjoy learning about the culture, as it has been an experience for me in these past 3 years I've been in IB.
Hello! In 10 years, I hope that IB continues to be a home away from home. I hope that its members will always find a family there who loves and accepts them with open arms, just as I have these past 2 years. Though it's hard to say how much IB may change in 10 years, I hope that its essence will always be the same, in that it will always be a group of people who come together to celebrate their culture and their identity, and just become a family and love each other in the ways that they can. I hope that in 10 years, IB becomes something that we'll always look on with pride and happiness and nostalgia, and that we'll always have a place for IB in our lives and in our hearts. Thank you.
Hey guys, Julius here, IB class of 2020. Hope everyone's doing all good. What do I hope to see IB like in 10 years? We're kind of a small school, much smaller than most schools when we go out to friendship games and all that. So what I hope to see is, I guess, a much bigger group, a much bigger family. Seeing that and doing what we do, that's what I hope to see. Till next time, guys.
Isang Bansa's commitment to both social and cultural awareness is truly evident. In the next 10 years, I hope that they will be able to expand their outreach and continue serving their immediate community and beyond. Isang bansa is rooted in its sense of family, and I know that together we are capable of doing so much going forward. Kaya natin to.
So I guess in 10 years, what I'm really hoping for is that when I come back to visit for a PCN is that we'll at least have new costumes, and not the same ones I saw my friends in I dancing with during my time there. And in my opinion, I think we are really due for some replacements, at least for some of them. And with that, I hope IB is able to find or make costumes that branch further than the Maria Clara suite of dances, because there's just so much more to Filipino culture than the parts influenced by Spanish colonization. And I guess that part of me that was a past Coco is hoping that by the time I'm 31, watching IB's 40th something annual PCN, is that I get to see something that makes me proud and something that inspires my kids sitting next to me to want to learn more about Filipino culture. And I know that's kind of a lot to ask from college kids who have their own academic and personal struggles, just a lot going on at the same time. But one can only hope for the best, and I honestly think that IB can bring out the best in all of us. It really did for me, and so I just hope the best for the next generation of IB kids.
So, where do I think IB will be in 10 years? And that's a big question to ask. Where wouldn't IB be in 10 years? First thing that comes to mind, I haven't thought about this at all. Cut to black screen, just black. All you hear is the spaceships, spaceship battle. Cut to a pilot. We're gonna go. Cut, and then it cuts. Andre, just in the pilot ship. I'm going down. From that, black screen again. And then, cut to the ground, just people fighting. All of a sudden, you just hear, "For eyes on Pag-Asa." All of a sudden, Angelo comes out, wizard suit. He's old Angelo, wizard suit, and just gray hair, wizard everything, wizard staff. He just goes, "Down for the Pag-Asa." And then like half the IB members, they turn into Pokemon somehow. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they just turned into Pokemon. And all of a sudden, there's me. I'm Alakazam. And there's Charles. Charles is like a Chimchar, and he's like throwing fireballs at people and stuff. And then on the other side, and then on the other side, the evil side, it's like all the other clubs and organizations, Filipino clubs and organizations from other schools, they're just like there on the other side. They're like the bad guys. It's like friendship games is now unfriendship games. We're just going. And then cut, black screen. Cut back to the fight, it's just fighting, but it's silence. Just silence, and it cuts to the corner. And there's Al and Skylar, and they just go, "Wow, my fat." Will that probably happen? I mean, there's always a chance. Realistically, I think in 10 years, IB will be intramural basketball champions 2021, 2022.
Hi, I'm Anton Luigi Picasso, class of 2020, and in 10 years I would like to see IB have that same energy and charisma that attracted me as a young, innocent freshman, naive to all of the different cultures in the world, and I just would like to see shit ton of people there and everyone having fun and and being themselves.
In 10 years, I hope that IB has grown and expanded. Obviously in terms of things such as member participation, but also in areas such as connection with alumni, as well as integration with other clubs. I hope that within that growth and expansion, IB is still able to retain that sense of family and community that is so important to the core values of IB, as well as what IB means to a lot of its members.
IB will look like in 10 years? I think in 10 years, IB will look a lot larger in terms of like the number of active students, as well as like the number of non-Filipinos, just because like our emphasis on family is something that a lot of people are drawn to. This is my honest opinion, but I think IB will also look like a powerhouse organization, a champion for the API community, to the point where anybody and everybody at LMU will know exactly who and what IB stands for. I think IB will also be just as close-knit and as family-oriented as I remember it, and that's what I think IB looks like in 10 years.
In 10 years, I really do hope that I'm still getting those alumni emails from Isang Bansa. But for real though, I really do hope that the club continues to be a home away from home for students at LMU, as it was for me. I really do hope that the club continues to grow, getting some new programs while also retaining some of the old ones. I hope that the community that IB fosters continues to keep pursuing that sense of Filipino identity, looking at the roots of Filipino culture, while also getting to know more programs and other clubs out there. But at the end of the day, I hope that the club is more than just a club to you. I hope that it's a family, and a family that no matter how many generations separate us, that no matter what, we'll all still be Isang Bansa, one nation, one family.
Hey IB, congrats on your 29th PCN. I wish I could be there in person to cheer you guys on from the front row in Burns backcourt, but since I can't, I'll just be here at home cheering you guys on from here. Anyways, in 10 years, I hope to see IB still being a large, flourishing club on campus, celebrating our amazing culture and values, as well as being active members in the local and global Filipino communities. And I also hope to see all the fan lines still being continued, and the same types of friendships and bonds that we've been creating all these years. Hopefully they're still being formed in the future. I hope you guys have an amazing PCN. Love and miss you guys. Take care.
In 10 years, I hope Isang Bansa, keeps us from like family side, inviting people of all cultures, and keeps its inclusiveness. However, I do hope that, in 10 years, we increase our relationship with the other SoCal school clubs, like UCLA and USC and Chapman, of course. But yeah.
All right. So in 10 years, I hope Isang Bansa still continues to have one of the largest and most welcoming families on campus, full of amazing and interesting people, just like you. Isn't that right, Ralph? Yeah, that's right. He thinks so.
In 10 years, I hope that IB is still a space that gives students their home away from home at LMU. I met most of my closest friends through IB, and I hope that it's always a welcoming family. Additionally, I was also able to learn so much about my Filipino culture through participating in things like Phil-Am History Month, Pistahan, and PCN, and I hope that no matter what, Isang Bansa is still a safe space to share, explore, and celebrate Filipino culture. With all of that being said, I think that IB still has the room to grow tremendously as a club. I hope that we continue making moves towards making the cultural aspect of our club the center of who we are. And finally, I hope that in 10 years, not only the Filipino American community, but the API community as a whole, I hope that we have a much more prominent presence at LMU.
So for my hopes for IB in 10 years, so I know that we all know IB as our home away from home and our community on campus. And I'd like to see IB be that and so much more, because I know that we're a community that lifts ourselves up and our fellow Filipino Americans And, you know, with all the anti-Asian hate and with the police brutality going on and the racial injustices that have been going on for the past, you know, few years, I would like to see IB grow into something that lifts its members up, but also grows into something that can support and lift other marginalized communities up as well. You know, ones that are on campus, but also ones that, you know, are around the globe.
In 10 years, I really hope that IB continues to be the welcoming family that it is. I came in freshman year. I'm not Filipino, but I've been here since freshman year to now my senior year. And it's really because of the welcoming environment, everyone just being really a family. And I know IB can, and I hope it still will be, that family for everyone who wants to come in and make some friends, who wants to come in and learn about their own culture or a different culture like myself. This is my hope for the future.
I hope that in 10 years, Isang Bansa increases its focus on cultural and social awareness. As the co-cultural coordinator for this past year, I got a chance to learn more about my Filipino identity and learn more about issues that are affecting people in the Philippines and Filipino Americans here in the United States. And I think that having more lessons that are geared towards those issues would be really beneficial for our club's growth, both as individuals and as an organization. I think that Isang Bansa could also increase its involvement in community service, both on and off campus. The pandemic kind of took that away from us, but I think that we can do more in the coming years to serve both the Filipino and the overall API community. And lastly, I just second what everyone else has been saying about increasing how family-oriented Isang Bansa has been, reaching out to the alumni community beyond just the Filipino and the Asian students, because IB has really created a home for me and so many of my friends, and I know that we can keep making more people feel welcome to our kapamilya, and yeah, I think that IB will always be a home for everyone.